When the Los Angeles Lakers franchise stirs, the entire basketball universe leans in, heart-pounding, waiting to see if the purple and gold will rise once more or falter under the crushing weight of expectations. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Now, the offseason buzz described a blockbuster shakeup in the making. Rumors swirled of big moves, seismic trades, and splashy signings designed to vault this team back to its storied throne. From the Showtime era's unrelenting fast break to the Kobe Shaq three-peat dynasty and the relentless grit of the 2010 back-to-back champions, all culminating in that magical 2020 bubble triumph. But as the Lakers front office, led by Pelinka, crunches the numbers and maneuvers carefully through a labyrinthine salary cap maze, the truth surfaces. Los Angeles has chosen patience and precision over chaos and hyperbole. They've engineered a roster deep enough to compete, yet safeguarded all their precious assets. No draft capital sacrificed, no stars departed for overpriced futures. Yes, they lost Dorian Finney-Smith, that relentless defensive stalwart who found a new home with the Houston Rockets at the dawn of free agency. A blow, but not a body blow. Still, the Lakers came back sterling, adding 3 new players, including the savvy acquisitions from the buyout market, a move that channels memories of past Lakers teams who once snatched diamonds in the rough, players who fit the system and culture like a well-worn glove. But here's the under-the-radar bomb no one saw coming. Despite all the market noise and whispered talks about a potential blockbuster deal involving the enigmatic Robert Williams III of the Portland Trail Blazers and the defensive maestro Matisse Thybulle, it seems those dreams may be just that, fantasies held hostage by the cold realities of cap limitations and fragile player availability. Dan Woik of The Athletic expressed skepticism, pointing out the intrinsic risk any team near the first luxury tax apron faces when gambling on the players whose injury histories pose a question mark over their consistency and floor availability. Still, Williams has been on the Lakers' radar for what feels like an eternity, a tantalizing defensive anchor whose rim protection capabilities stand among the league's best. Though perpetually hampered by injuries, he played only 20 out of 82 games last season and hasn't hit 61 games in any of his 7 years. His potential to transform the Lakers' interior defense is nearly unmatched, evoking memories of legendary shot blockers who altered the league's offensive calculus in times past. Thybulle, the tenacious perimeter defender with 2 NBA All-Defensive Team nods, might seem the perfect complementary cogs, chipping in with stout steals and relentless pressure on opponents' guards. Ideal for the dynamic, switch-heavy defensive schemes coaches crave to cripple the West's multifaceted offenses. Yet, the idea of bundling these 2 defenders in a trade seems to face more brick walls than open highways right now, a parallel to the Lakers' classic conundrum of balancing financial prudence with championship hunger. Meanwhile, the Lakers' current core, anchored by the incomparable LeBron James, the versatile Anthony Davis, and rising talents like Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and the intriguing Max Christie, is being meticulously curated to peak in the summer of 2027, a whispered timeline that demands both strategic patience and unwavering faith. This patient approach reminds one of the masterful long games played in decades past, when glimmering stars had to await the right moment to dominate the night sky. But here's where the tension gnaws deeper. The Lakers are wrestling with the question: should they, could they, or even dare they pull the trigger on a risky trade today that could expedite contention but risk losing future flexibility? Or is the future shaped instead by more subtle roster tweaks, buyout market gambits, and the infectious energy of players like D'Angelo Russell and Gabe Vincent stepping into increased roles? The Los Angeles faithful have been here before, times that pushed their patience to the brink, testing loyalty through year after year of postseason heartbreak just before the dawn of greatness. Remember 2019, the fragile final seasons before the bubble championship, the rebuilding after the Kobe era, the drafting gambles, the cap gymnastics, the entire rich history cycles behind today's decisions, feeding anxieties and dreams alike. What does it say about the Lakers front office that no headline-grabbing blockbuster has materialized this offseason? Despite tantalizing possibilities, what hidden dynamics within the locker room are influencing these decisions, where chemistry and grit often outweigh raw talent or marquee names? And as Pelinka navigates the shark-infested waters of NBA free agency, balancing between risk-averse preservation of assets and the desperate hunger to bring another title home, What are the untold stories bubbling beneath the surface? The whispered doubts, the locker room clashes, the rising stars ready to burst free from secondary roles? Because from the shadows of Staples Center to the echoes of Genie Bus ambitions, every move, every rumor, every non-move carves the Lakers' future trajectory in stone, clay, or smoke. So here we stand on the precipice, watching a team that has refused to trade away its draft capital, that has strategically lost one dependable defender, but gained multiple role players from the buyout market, that has patiently, methodically sculpted a squad aimed not just at fleeting glory, but at sustained dominance, yet confronted still with a tantalizing, elusive prize in Robert Williams III and Matty Thibble, whose availability and health remain as uncertain as the Lakers' title odds themselves. Is this the season where patient calculation pays off, setting the stage for the Lakers' rebirth in 2027, a new era echoing Showtime's flair and Kobe's killer instinct? Or are we witnessing the subtle unraveling of a dynasty, shackled by cap restraints and cautious choices, risking slipping quietly from elite contender to also ran? As a lifelong Lakers believer, my pulse is racing just writing this, the tantalizing promise of greatness mingled with the sting of near misses and what-ifs. But is this the ignition point for our next title run, or the crack that splits our legacy? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand. Feel that jagged spike in your chest like lightning ripping through the night sky above downtown LA? That's not just nerves, it's the pulse of a city hypnotized by purple and gold, heartache and hope. A tidal wave roaring beneath the bright glare of crypto. COM Arena's relentless spotlight, where every whispered front office secret and locker room rumble turns into a symphony of simmering tension with no escape hatch. The reverberations from those frozen trade rumors about Williams and Thibble aren't just ripples, they're seismic shocks shaking the very foundation of what Lakers basketball means in 2024. Because here's the cruel, twisting truth. We stand at a crossroads snared by two impossible realities. A thirst for immediate glory gnawing at the edges of a future carefully not mortgaged, and a roster meticulously crafted to peak years from now, when the young core finally emerges from the chrysalis and roars into relevance alongside the undiminished LeBron and the mercurial, ever-fragile Anthony Davis. And the hum beneath those core lights? It's the collective heartbeat of a franchise caught between eras, not quite desperate, but taut as a drawn bowstring ready to snap. With whispers swirling about locker room chemistry that's as delicate as fine china and as volatile as a powder keg. You can almost feel the temperature drop when talk turns to the enigmatic Robert Williams III, the man who could be a game-changing pillar in the paint, a shot-blocking colossus who once dazzled enough to make us dream of reclaiming the defensive dominance reminiscent of Lakers legends who once made every opponent's drive to the hoop feel like a death sentence. Yet the ghosts of injury past hang heavy, because what good is an immune fortress if your cornerstone spends more time on the sidelines than standing tall under the rim? That calculus haunts every internal meeting, every glossy media day smile that masks the gritted teeth behind closed doors. And Matty Thibble, the perimeter nightmare whose relentless defensive pestering could complement Davis's length and lockdown mentality perfectly. A player whose very reputation forces opponents into mistakes, misses, and magic moments for the purple and gold's offense. But can the Lakers afford to gamble on these volatile wild cards amid a salary cap labyrinth that's tighter than Jimmy Kimmel's monologue schedule? Every front office chess move is shadowed by that spectral luxury tax of financial noose that has strangled previous title ambitions, and whispered networks within league circles echo with questions. Will one star have to be sacrificed? Will the future bloom or wither before our eyes? Meanwhile, watching from the sidelines are the West's ravenous contenders, the Denver Nuggets sharpening claws after clinching their own destiny, the Phoenix Suns circling with fiery ambition just beneath the desert sun, the Los Angeles Clippers tinkering endlessly, and the perennial Golden State Warriors poised to reassert their dynasty with a ruthless efficiency that turns nights in Staples into war zones of X's and O's. You sense it in the crunch of sneakers on the hardwood, the crackle of broadcast microphones, the sweat-soaked anticipation surging through the veins of late-night fans refreshing Twitter feeds. The Lakers are staring at a season that will test every shard of patience the city has cultivated over decades of heartbreak and triumph. There is no room for false hope. Now imagine LeBron James carrying the weight of legacy as colossal as the Hollywood sign, watching his every move scrutinized as he balances physical tolls and leadership pressures while the ink dries on the roster blueprint. Anthony Davis, the mercurial dynamo, nursing aches that whisper ominous warnings on every drive and jump shot, the youthful hopes, Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, stepping into roles magnified 1,000-fold, their every shot dissected with championship dreams, hanging in the balance. The narrative twists when you peek inside a Lakers gym meeting, whispers of growing pains, subtle tension between veterans and hopefuls, and the intricate dance of ego and camaraderie that could either fuel or fracture this fragile resurrection. The buyout market signings are small flickers of brilliance, but no full-blaze sparks meant to complement, not redefine the identity. The Lakers' decision not to part with precious draft capital, the lifeblood of sustained success, marks a calculated patience that recalls the slow, deliberate build-ups of Showtime days and the methodical construction of the Kobe Shaq dynasty. But the pressure to flip the script quicker grows louder by the day. What price patience when the Western Conference descends into a battleground of towering threats? Hungry for glory, here's where the drama explodes. What if this cautious strategy, this wait for 2027 plan, becomes the albatross around the neck of a generation of Lakers fans yearning to see that familiar sparkle return to championship banners? What if the marquee duo of LeBron and AD, both battered and tested, win, out burning the candle from both ends before this calculated future can arrive? And then there's the psychological warfare of the fans in the stands, the social media firestorms, the think pieces questioning every idle move, every non-move. The loyalty of the purple and gold faithful is a razor edge ready to slice and dice, only to bandage itself in resilience days later. You catch the taste of sweat and popcorn blending in the air. At Crypto.com, the roar of a lion's den stirred, not just by the game on the court, but by the swirling unseen boardroom battles. Could Rob Pelinka pull off the impossible again? The puppet master weaving cap alchemy and player chemistry, like only the great architects of Lakers lore could? Or is this the moment where a fractured strategy will blow apart the carefully curated dream, forcing a reckoning that demands bold risks over patient calculation? A dose of Showtime fire, a Kobe-like killer instinct unleashed to tear through convention and rewrite the destiny script? Because despite all the glistening analytics and measured roster crafting, this team's soul is tied to its historic hunger for glory, a hunger that can turn a slow-burning fuse into an inferno in a single game-winning shot or heroic fourth-quarter run. The summer of 2027 might be the roadmap, but the question of whisper-turned-roar in the streets of LA is whether the will and grit to win right here, right now, still burns incandescently in the veins of this team, or if it's quietly fading. And this isn't just speculation, it's a living, breathing crisis simmering under the city's neon glow, whispered in every Laker purple jersey worn, echoed in every hesitant pass and every clutch miss that countless purple and gold hearts held their breath for. The ghosts of past glories, the echoes of Shaq's domination, Kobe's scorched earth mentality, the bubble's perfect storm. All of those legends feel like spectral advisors now, beckoning this team to rise or risk slipping into the shadows of fading relevance. Can the Lakers' patient blueprint withstand the boiling pressures of the Western Conference madness? Is LeBron's greatness fated to be capped by injury and dwindling support, or elevated by an emergence of new heroes rising from the simmering depths of uncertainty? If the balance tips to far in caution, will the purple and gold dynasty quietly dissolve into another rebuild chapter, or surprising revival? And what's hidden in the locker room silence after every grueling practice, every strategy session? Is there a whispered mutiny brewing, or a quiet determination stirring the embers of an epic comeback? Because you can feel it in the quiver beneath each fan's breath, a sense that the coming season might just be the stage for a seismic shakeup or the slow crack of another era's sunset. As a Laker till my last breath, I could feel the earthquake rumbling under this season. Now tell me what's rattling your soul, because the firestorm hasn't even peaked. Honestly, I think this cautious front office dance makes sense given the risks, but the Lakers can't keep playing the long game if they want to honor the legacies of LeBron and AD fully. Sometimes you have to fuel the fire now or risk watching the embers die before the flame can roar again.